Hello once again. In this segment, I'm going to be starting a large painting. And what I'm going to do in this segment is I'm going to prime this canvas with white acrylic paint. And I'm going to show you how to do that. What you're going to need is a little bit of water, so you can wipe your hands. And so if you're going to do this, follow my instructions. You need these items. So you also need rags. Wipe your hands with. I use acrylic paint from Dollarama. Okay, these are pretty cheap. $1.50, I guess, in some stores. I'm not quite sure with taxes. But anyways, the acrylic paint is going to be applied with a sponge. So I have another Dollarama item here, sponges. I usually have a whole pack of them here, but I just didn't have time to get some supplies this week. So anyways, also we need a palette, a tray, so that you can, once the paint is in there, it goes onto the canvas. So I'll show you how that's going to be done, or how I'm going to do it. But this is a project that I've planned for quite some time now, over the past, I don't know, couple of years, but I never really got around to it. What I want to do is kind of like an aquarium painting, but I got some ideas. Well, since I have such a large piece of canvas, that the bottom part will be like an aquarium painting with Great Lakes fish. Now, I grew up here in Sarnia, Ontario, with the Great Lakes. I'm surrounded by the Great Lakes. There's the Great Lakes to the south of me. There's Lake Erie. Lake Erie is to the south of us, and Lake Ontario, just further to the southeast. To the north is Lake Huron and Lake Superior and Lake Michigan. But Lake Huron is where Sarnia Lambton is, and that's where Amjadam is, and that's where I am located. So I grew up around the Great Lakes, and so this is what this painting is going to be about. We're going to have some Great Lakes fish in this painting, and so right here I have a muskie, this Ontario muskie, and so the water, first I'm going to be putting the primer on first before I do any of this stuff, and that's what I'm doing in this segment. This is going to be about 2 or 3, maybe 4 segments, and I'll talk a little bit about my art and show you a little bit about my art, my techniques. It's important that to keep an open mind, because there's a right way and wrong way of doing things, and I guess if you're an artist and you got your ideas, you're set in your ways. Everyone's unique, and I want to encourage everyone as an artist, no matter how bad you think you are, there's an art that you don't know about yet, that you just haven't discovered. Whether it's a talent, maybe singing, maybe playing a guitar, whatever, you just haven't discovered it. But anyways, I have this as my livelihood today. This keeps me busy, along with my friend Oreo here, and he's my bestest buddy, my co-host, and he's with me pretty much all the time. Like, I hardly ever leave anywhere without him, and if I go anywhere, I try not to spend any more than up to 3 hours away, and before I have to come back to Oreo, because I start to miss him after a while. That's how strong that bond is. And anyways, I'm going to prime this, and what you also need is I have this tablecloth, an old tablecloth that was a gift to me, but I've been using it as a canvas over the years. So you're going to need to put that on your floor, so that you don't get any paint all over the floor. And that'll be, I'm just going to crouching down here a bit, just to make sure that this gets underneath the easel. That's what I'm trying to do here, without trying to knock anything over. So when you get your canvas, you pretty much kind of decide which angle you're going to use, whether it be upright or sideways. So that's upright, this is sideways. So I'm going to be doing a sideways painting. What I said I'm going to do is Great Lakes fish. And I got a couple of different things here that different ideas that I do. So these fish are going to go, I'm not sure how many I'm going to put in here yet. But they're going to be, this will probably be maybe a little bit darker, but the color of the water. So it's going to be kind of like an aquarium painting. There's going to be different species. I'm not sure what I'm putting in there yet, but these are all salt water. The Great Lakes are salt water. Salt water. So, or sorry, I mean fresh water, I meant to say. Salt water is the oceans. Fresh water, I'm sorry, let me clear that up. Fresh water. If I said salt water previously, I'm sorry. I meant to say freshwater. So these are freshwater fish. I meant to say freshwater fish. Okay, so I'm going to get, we all make mistakes. I try not to make too many while I'm doing a video. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to get my paint. I'll take the caps off. So I don't need the caps on. I'm going to get this ready. So I can start sponging it on. That's how I'm going to do that with this technique. I learned my different techniques from different artists, and over the years, different painters and people that draw, public artists, that sort of thing. Anyways, so I'm going to unwrap the canvas. This is 30 by 40 inch. I grew up in the 1970s, okay? In the 1970s, we didn't measure anything in centimeters or millimeters. That was all, that all came in 1976, but I don't want to insult anybody, but I still use the inches, 30, like, or feet, measure things in miles, that sort of thing. The old measurement system, like similar to the American ones, the same measuring system. But anyways, I'm taking the canvas, the wrapper off the canvas, and sometimes I also save a little bit of advertising packaging so that I get an idea of how big the painting is, and I keep that in mind. So I'm just going to set that aside so I can have that for later. And so it's early in the morning. This is why you see Oreo sleeping all the time, because he likes to sleep throughout the night, off and on, but he's more playful during the day, and we'll try to get him in a playful mood the next time. So I'm having my coffee here while I do this. So this is like a reality show, like a reality program. So that's why I do a lot of reality stuff around here. I'll get more into my reality with my daily routines, with exercises and workout programs and stuff like that, and I will go along as I go along. I will introduce more of that sort of stuff. But right now, I wanted to prime a canvas and show you, explain what I'm doing here. Anyways, we're getting the rest of the wrapper off. Put that up here. Now, different artists, well, at least most artists, will tell you that they will tell you that when you prime it, it has to be white, okay? And so it could be, for me, I sometimes I prime my canvases black, okay? And it's still the same fact. This is from priming it black. But this is a dark background. And so I always start the prime first. That's the first stage of doing a painting. And then The second stage is doing the background, whatever your background is, and maybe some centerpieces that go with it, the main subject. So the main subject comes last, on top of the background, and after the priming. That'll be the third segment, right? So with the different backgrounds, you could use you can also use a sponge to do this, and I'll show how I do that as I go along. And so what I got here is I got my sponge, I got my paint, and I'm going to start applying this a little bit at a time. So eventually this easel will probably get a lot of paint on it, and it was gifted to me, and this is the first time I've been able to use it like for different situations and where I'm demonstrating and painting. I use them for public displays too. But if you have an easel, it's easier to work with. But you can. Sometimes I always work right on the floor too. So applying this sideways because the water is going to be like in an aquarium. And what I was also going to tell you is that up top here, I'm thinking seriously about putting a scene here, the water line right here, and then maybe a ship here, a Great Lakes freighter, a very famous Great Lakes freighter called the Edmund Fitzgerald, which sank at the bottom of Lake Superior in 1975. November 10th, 1975. And I would have been about, I guess 10 years old, or close to it anyways. Or yeah, about 9 years old, sorry. But anyways, I was fascinated with the Great Lakes and the shipwrecks after this had happened. And so I studied up a lot on the Great Lakes and about the tragedy itself. And it was the Gordon Lightfoot song that actually got me intrigued with the whole story itself. And believe it or not, I do have a good memory, and I can remember where I was at that time. Supposedly the Edmund Fitzgerald sank at 7 p.m. that night. And I'm just going to put that on the floor there so that I don't keep turning around here. (1975), around 7 p.m. So I was 9 years old, and I was my grandfather. I lived with my grandfather all my life, all my childhood life, and I did a lot of painting and drawing. Well, drawing, I should say. I did some painting, but mostly drawing ships. And so I grew up in a house with no running water, and no inside toilet facilities. That was the first house I grew up in. And that was here on Tajmu Road, on Tajmu Avenue here on Amjinuk. Then we moved into a trailer in 1975, and that's why I remember the Edmund Fitzgerald and where I was at that time. So I have a good memory for stuff like that. So throughout my childhood, I didn't always have a TV, so I did a lot of painting and a lot of reading, an enormous amount of reading. Once I started to learn how to read, I loved reading books. So if you have a child at home that loves reading books, encourage it, because it's wonderful food for knowledge, as well as painting. Painting is therapeutic. If you're stressed out and you're having a bad time, sometimes you can get lost in the painting. So once again, I'm doing the prime sideways, because the water is going to be sideways. So I'm going to make sure I prime the whole thing a complete white acrylic, using the sponge. Some folks might use a brush, a large brush. You could also use a large brush. But I'm so used to using sponges that this is what works for me. There's about 2 or 3 different artists that taught me how to use a sponge. And when you're priming a painting, when you're priming the canvas, and make sure you get the edges, all the edges, especially also when you're doing your background, always cover the edges, because it looks a lot better that way. Whether just having just the face of the canvas painted. So we're moving right along here. We've got almost half of it done. And this is not even half a bottle. So careful where you step too, because when you're moving around, it's easy to step on the paint when it drops to the floor. So I've done that, and so in one of my rooms here, I have acrylic paint spots on the floor from me doing this, from different colors. But it comes with the lifestyle, right? So doing art and painting this like this is therapeutic for me. And I like doing this first thing in the morning, because it's peaceful. I'm not saying my neighbors are noisy or anything like that. I'm just saying it's peaceful for me. There's something about the early morning, especially in summer or in the spring, when the birds are singing and you wake up with the beauty of nature all around you. So I got half of the canvas primed. Now I believe it's going to be time to turn it over to the other side, so that I can prime the other side. So I don't have a lot of white paint here. That's actually, some of it's kind of dried up. Fresh white paint, I'm trying to say. But you should use fresh paint when you're painting, because you'll get some little bit of the acrylics, when it starts to dry up, it starts to get a little bit lumpy. So I just wanted to say that. Hopefully I'm making sense here as I go along. I'm just, I've never done too many segments, at least not like this, on video form. And I've taught a couple classes, but this is why you need a rag, and you need to be able to touch stuff. And also in case the phone rings or whatever, you need to get somewhere real quick. But that's why it's better first thing in the morning, so you're not too bothered. You don't got too much to take your mind away from what you're doing. Break your concentration. So I'm going to turn this over. So I get to the other side over here. It doesn't look like I missed anything, so hopefully I didn't. If I did, I can come back to it later. So I'm going to take some more of the fresh paint that I've had. So what I was saying earlier is that I don't have a lot of fresh paint because I've had a lot of white paint that I've had from a year or so ago. So that's why it's starting to lump up a little bit. And I've had a lot of it. I bought a whole bunch of it because I go through a lot of white and black paint. So those are the two main colors that I go through the most. So sometimes I prime. Sorry for the tongue twister. Sometimes when I prime a canvas, I do it black if I want a dark painting. And sometimes I like painting against a black background. So once again, pay attention to the sides of the canvas. Make sure everything is primed. Some of these canvases you can buy them primed. But I figured, I can do the job myself. So I don't need to buy them like that. I guess I would if I'm getting a roll canvas, because you can buy this canvas roll to it. Stores like Michael's. If you're in Toronto, there's Curry's. Gortzman's on Spadina. That's a very awesome art store. I used to get all my supplies there when I lived in Toronto. Gortzman's on Spadina, just south of College. Good old Toronto, Ontario. So anyways, artwork relieves stress. It's therapeutic. So that, especially when you're stressed out, and you want to think, and you want to make plans, it's a good time to do it while you're doing art. It'll help you make decisions, maybe proper decisions. Proper decisions. Proper cognitive skills. Cognitive thinking, like a better way of thinking, I guess you would say. So I got a little bit of the acrylic is drying up as I got it in the tray. It's a good thing it's not, there's no wind or anything like that, and we're not outside, because sometimes I try to paint when I'm outside and the paint dries up fast. So, but over the years that I've been painting, I was able to master the technique, I guess, the best of my ability. So once again, we're going sideways because the water is going to go sideways. This painting is going to be an aquarium painting on the bottom part, and a scene with the Edmund Fitzgerald on top. So it's going to be kind of like maybe about a 6-inch section on top, or maybe more. This is 20 by 30 canvas, I think it was. 30 by 40, sorry. So, yeah, it's going to be a pretty large painting. And eventually, like, I'm not going to paint the whole thing in front of you, okay? This is going to be just done in segments as I go along. But I'm explaining to you what I'm doing here, and that is the main idea. So, with that, I have my canvas primed, ready to dry up and ready to roll. Usually the canvas, the after it's primed. It only takes me, I just leave it a whole day. Just let it all dry out, let it all be absorbed into the canvas. Excuse me. Absorbed into the canvas, and you'll be able to work with it better. And plus, acrylic paint is almost like elastic, so it'll make the surface a lot stronger and better to hold the brushes when you're applying paint and you're painting your picture. So we'll get the canvas all primed. Next, what's coming up next is the background. And I will show you that in my next segment. And I will talk a little bit more about my art and my lifestyle here. Like I said, I got a lot of my ideas from other artists, and so this is how I was taught to prime my artwork, and I only prime it in 2 colors, black or white, and it depends on if I want a dark scene or a light scene. So I guess I kind of want a little bit of a daytime scene with so that you can see the fish at the bottom of the water, like so, and maybe the ship up top, the Edmund Fitzgerald, as it's on its way on another journey. A very memorable story, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So the name of this painting, I decided last night, I would call it the Ice Water Mansion. So this is the start of the Ice Water Mansion painting. And hopefully it'll look as good as I'm describing it. And we have Mr. Oreo. We're just getting him to wake up a little bit here. I think we got his, maybe we can get his opinion. Hopefully I don't got no, here, hold on, I gotta take a little bit of this off of my hands. I just wanted to thank everyone again for joining me and helping me feel more comfortable with myself in front of the video while I'm doing my work. So, like I said, I'll be doing more different stuff around my home here, and I'll show you what I got going on and my daily routines throughout my channel. My channel is going to be mostly about a lot of different art forms and also cultural stuff, native cultural. I'm Aamjiwnaang First Nation. I'm Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, from Aamjiwnaang First Nation, Sarnia, Ontario, and Canada. And join me once again for the next segment, and I will show you how to put start the background on a painting, or how I'm going to start my background on this painting. Have a good day. And it's early Sunday morning, so that's why it's even more peaceful. So hopefully I didn't disturb anybody. I'm living in an apartment, so hopefully I didn't disturb anybody with my talking and my moving around. But probably not, because I have good neighbors here, and I get along with everybody, and it's one of the good things about living with good neighbors. Anyways, I'm just rambling on now. So have a good day. Drive carefully, and we will see you again.